1.
So we didn't get through all these problems in class. I'm going to finish the last few. I said I would finish them from the PowerPoint. So these are the complex. They're a little bit combined. Got a multiplication, you got powers of I, you got subtraction. Just be careful. Don't change your rules of algebra because you're doing something with imaginary numbers. So first here I'm going to distribute. So I have 5 minus 2i squared, which is plus 2i, plus 10 minus 8i cubed, plus 12i to the fourth. So 12i to the fourth is just 12. And I to the third is negative I. So I have negative 8 times negative I, which changes this to 8i. So I can combine like terms. 5 plus 10 plus 12, 27. 2i plus 8i is 10i. We did this one, but some of you didn't get to see it. Just make sure that you turn this into 8i squared before you simplify, or you can make that negative 8 then from there, but make sure you simplify first. You didn't get to see this one. We didn't get all the way through the PowerPoint. So we have some negatives, some i's, radicals, all kinds of stuff in here. We just saw the cartoon. I don't think we talked about the problem. So as you do this problem, make sure that you're making this into an I before you start. So I'm going to call that radical 40i. And don't be afraid to write a few steps. It's like pre-algebra when you simplified, start skipping steps, you start forgetting some things. So this is 4i to the 6th. I can take out an I to the 4th and get I squared. So this is really 4i squared, which is negative 4. The opposite of negative 4 is 4. Now I've simplified the problem. So I have to distribute here. So I have 3 radical 400i minus 2 radical 120i, and then plus 8 plus 4i. So as we simplify, I'm going to change this to 20. So this is 60i minus 2. This is radical 4, radical 30i plus 8 plus 4i. You keep rewriting them, you won't lose them. So I have 60i minus 4 radical 30i plus 8 plus 4i. So I have everything simplified as much as I can. Put the i's together, because we have to have it in the form of a plus bi. There's our a. So I have 60 minus 4 radical 30 plus 4, all of that times I. So I can just change my 60 to a 64. You can't put it out here with this because it's not plain 64, it's 64i. And that would be your final answer. Next one has some fractions in it. Go ahead and pause the video, write down the problem, and then you can work it out from there. So I'm gonna do a few things first. I'm gonna attack this in parts. I to the 4th I don't need anything there because it's just 1. And I'm going to change this to 2i. So I really have 2i minus 3 times 2i squared. So I got two different things here. I don't want to combine those fractions. I want to just get rid of the I in the denominator. So So I multiply that one by I over I. So that leaves me with 2I over negative 5. I'm going to multiply this one by I plus 1. Over I plus 1, which is the same as 1. So I get 3I squared plus 3I. Down here I get I squared minus 1. So 3I squared is negative 3 plus 3I, negative 1 and negative 1, negative 2. Distribute the negative 5. And then I'm going to change the 2I squared to 4I squared, which is negative 4. So now just double check and make sure you got everything down below here that comes out the way you want it to. Now it's just a matter of simplifying, combining like terms. So I need to split this fraction up. So I have negative 2/5 I plus 3/2, those two negatives will cancel out, minus 3/2 I, minus 15 minus 10I plus 12. Combine all your constant terms. So this would be negative 15 plus 12 is negative 3 plus 3/2. That's my A. I'll combine those later. And then on the I have negative 2/5, negative 3/2, and negative 10. So this is negative 9, excuse me, negative 6/2. Negative 6/2 plus 3/2, you can do this on the calculator too, is negative 3/2. And then I have put these all over 10. So I have negative 4/10, negative 15/10, and negative 100/10. That's a negative 119 over 10. So a little more complicated just with the final step of simplifying.